evening, everyone. My name is Luke Stilson, Director of Athletic Communications. Tonight, we celebrate the outstanding accomplishments of our former student athletes who have gained entry into the Hall of Athletic Honor. Since 1978, when 29 athletes were elected, the Hall has recognized the greatest sports figures in Gettysburg's long athletics history. And tonight, the total number of inductees reaches 262 with the addition of a new class. It is my great pleasure at this time to introduce those 29 members in attendance with us this evening, beginning with our newest class. Judy Langan, class of 1985. Bob Lewis, class of 1986. Tommy Pierce, class of 2001. Jessica Seedorf, class of 2001. Missy West, class of 2001. Mike Raleigh, former head swim. Joe Denali, former head athletic trainer and men's lacrosse coach. Barry Streeter, former head football coach. Elizabeth Janelle Hall, class of 2003. Tim McGinnis, class of 2003. Mike Plantholt, class of 2001. Kelly Brennan Keene, class of 2000. Todd Peters, class of 1998. Gregory Stevsick, class of 1998. Amy Shelton, class of 1991. Catherine Ruffenbach Burns, class of 1988. Brian Golden, class of 1988. Matt Rockstraw, class of 1987. Seth Bendian, class of 1987. Brian Barr, class of 1986. Karen Tesmer, class of 1985. Carrie Williams, class of 1983. Cheryl McHale Carey, class of 1982. Marianne Paparon, class of 1981. David Boynton, class of 1979. Susan Dunton Myers, class of 1977. Gareth Lefty Beiser, class of 1957 and former head athletic trainer. Harry Pure, class of 1950. And Bob Kenworthy, class of 1959 and former sports information director. Since the last time we gathered together for this joyous occasion in 2019, our Orange and Blue family has been saddened by the loss of faithful and supportive alumni and friends, including most recently Jack Brame, John Clark, Lou Hammond, and Andy Cohn, among others who are missed at this celebration. At this time, we ask that you join us in observing a moment of silence to honor those bullets who are no longer with us. Thank you. Our inductees can be seated. And at this time, I would like to introduce Executive Director of Intercollegiate Athletics and Campus Recreation, Mike Mattia, for a few words.
Thank you, Luke. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you all to the 2020 Hall of Athletic Honor Celebration. That is correct. I did not misspeak. There are those of you who may not be aware, but this group was selected and scheduled to be inducted into the Hall of Athletic Honor in the fall of 2020. Obviously, the pandemic put a pause to that. It has been a long wait, but I'm so happy that we are finally able to properly honor this group of inductees tonight. I want to give them a warm welcome, congratulate, and thank each inductee for your patience and for being here tonight. Tonight is all about you, and I hope it will be a night that you will always remember. I want to thank the Orange and Blue Club for putting this evening together. There is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make this event run smoothly, and I especially want to thank Jan Shara and Nick Poehler for their tireless work. I also want to thank Corey Jewett, Luke Stilson, and Olivia Moyer from our communications offices. They're the ones responsible for the videos you will soon see, and for collecting and organizing all the information on each of our inductees. Our Hall of Athletic Honor Ceremony is one of my favorite events we put on each year. Tonight is a very special night where we will recognize the accomplishments of 6 individuals and a team of distinction. We'll be honoring one of the best coaches and some of the very best student athletes Gettysburg has produced. This class of inductees is an impressive group chosen by their peers. They set the standard for success in their respective sports. They were team captains, became conference champions, NCAA tournament participants, Player of the Year award winners, all-conference, all-region, and all-American recipients, career record holders, Coach of the Year award recipients, and an NCAA national championship team. We are all very proud of these accomplishments and hope they can inspire our current and future Gettysburg student athletes to carry on this tradition of success. Beyond these individual accomplishments, these inductees had positive impact on their teammates or those they coached, both through practice and competitions and off the field and out of the pool. Those lasting bonds that were formed have more meaning than any personal triumph achieved. That is why we have so many helping us celebrate tonight. This evening gives us the opportunity to recognize a great group of former student athletes and coaches, as well as connect with friends, share our memories, and reflect on how great it is to be a Bullet. Thank you again for coming. We are in for a wonderful evening. Now I'd like to introduce the 15th president of Gettysburg College, Bob Giuliano.
Good evening, everybody. This is certainly a special night for the college and for our former student athletes whose legacies continue to very much define what it means to be a member of the Bullets faithful. As Mike said, among those who make up this extraordinary group of inductees this year, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 Hall of Famers from the class of 2001. I want to know how we were training you back then, and we need to blueprint that. Congratulations, folks. Let me begin tonight by congratulating this year's impressive group of inductees. It's a group that not only demonstrated its skill on the field, but continues to demonstrate the values of this community, the values of our athletic program, and they continue in their lives outside of Gettysburg to personify what it means to be a member of this community. The 6 new inductees that we're going to recognize tonight are part of an incredible group of over 250 Hall of Honor members composed of former student athletes, coaches, and staff members at the college. And again, one of the remarkable statements about this community is how many of you turned out to support them, to recognize their accomplishments, and to celebrate what it means to be part of this program. To everyone, current and past inductees to the Hall of Honor, congratulations on all that you have done. And again, welcome back to college and to campus. Now, to the 2001 women's lacrosse team, our NCAA national champions women's lacrosse team. What an honor. I wasn't here for this, but I've heard a lot of stories about just how much that national championship meant to this college, the way it uplifted the community, how it spoke to the values that we have as a community, and how much it really then resulted in the program success that followed. 2 other national championships. Last year, another appearance in the NCAA Final Four. So to that team, congratulations and thank you for all you've given to this college. So I am fond of saying I practiced 1 year of football in college. I can't say I played it, but I practiced it. And athletics played a really important role in my life. The lessons we learn in victory and, yes, in defeat helped shape me into the person I am today. And I'm confident that's true for every person who donned the orange and blue while they were here. And what we know is that athletics, no matter the sport, provides our students with invaluable tools that they're going to carry with them throughout their entire life. Leadership, communication, preparation, grittiness, resiliency, openness to feedback, often constructive, not always, right, coaches? And the ability to rise to the moment. These are all values that matter to us enormously here at the college because we believe that the athletic experience is an integral part of the overall education that our students receive here. It helps our students learn how to engage in a productive life, a life that we're talking about as a consequential life, how to lead in service of others, to do something bigger than themselves. This matters to us, and it's embedded in the most recent strategic plan that we have adopted. Today, nearly 1/4 of all Gettysburg College students participate in NCAA Division III athletics. We want those students to win a lot of games, that's true. We want them to create a lot of memories. We know that some of them will join this distinguished group in entering our Hall of Famers one day for themselves. We know that they're working hard towards these goals. But in addition to all that, and perhaps even more importantly, we want to produce Hall of Famers who are good community members, good colleagues, and good friends. Hall of Fame sons and daughters, spouses and life partners. Hall of Fame leaders and citizens. That's what it's about. And today's students need to look no further than the people in this room, this group of inductees, the many of the faces I've come to know for that inspiration, and I want to thank you for that. This college is better for what we do on our athletic fields, the community it builds, the work of our coaches, our players, the people who cheer them on. Again, thank you enormously for all that you do for this college. Congratulations to our newest inductees. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I look forward to celebrating all of the accomplishments as the night goes on. Enjoy your dinner, and again, have a good night.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Barry Streeter, head football coach from 1978 until 2017 and 2018 Hall of Athletic Honor inductee, to the stage for the invocation just before dinner this evening. After the invocation, you'll be dismissed by table to enjoy our buffet.
Well, it's a thrill for me to be here, that's for sure. It's a thrill for anybody to be here. We didn't have it for 2 years, and so it's great to have this recognition time for everyone. Congratulations to the new inductees, and I was thinking about this before I pray. I couldn't just get up here and pray. I was thinking about this before. What a wonderful blessing we all have been given, because I would imagine, if not all, most people in here were athletes in college or high school. What a blessing we were given to be allowed to play athletics, to participate in athletics. And I would venture to say, well, I'll just speak for myself. I'd love to have one more game to coach. One more game to play. How about you? How about you? Just one more. it's such a blessing. Let me pray for the food here. Lord, we praise your holy name. We praise your holy name, and we thank you for countless blessings. Among them is blessing us with the ability to play, coach, whatever sports. And just an opportunity to learn from so many people, including our teammates and our coaches. Thank you for this college and what it means to so many people. Thank you for the current players and coaches. We ask blessings on them if they have games tomorrow to play their best and to take advantage of every second they have. We thank you for the food we're about to receive. You bless us in so many ways, and we thank you for it. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Hey, it worked. All right. After doing this for 16 years, you expect something not to work. But so far, so good. And thank you for listening, and we can now continue today's ceremony. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hall of Athletic Honor induction ceremony. My name is Corey Jewett, or good old what's his name if you prefer. Inside joke for some staff members here. And I'm the Assistant Director of Content Strategy. However, once upon a time, I was the Director of Athletic Communications. Carrying on an outstanding legacy that was started by Mr. Bob Kenworthy, seated over there on the left side of the room. The role gave me an opportunity to connect with so many amazing people, including alumni, coaches, and staff members, all with incredible stories to tell about their time at Gettysburg College. I'm grateful to the OMB Club and the Department of Athletics for allowing me to stand before you one more time tonight. But who knows, maybe I'll be back again. I want to start by saying congrats to our 6 new members of the Hall of Athletic Honor. Despite the trials and tribulations of the last few years, I'm glad we are here tonight in person to honor you all. While I could certainly go on about our 6 inductees and the amazing accomplishments they achieved, I'm here to introduce you to an incredible group of women who I had the honor of working with 11 years ago. So heading into the 2011 season, I remember walking into head coach Carol Kentelly's office and wondering, where do we even start? The prior year in 2010, we had one of the deepest senior classes in program history. 10 athletes that played consistently around the field. We lost 70% of the offense, nearly every defensive player, and out of the 25-player roster in 2011, 19 were either freshmen or sophomores. Let's just say the team surprised us. They won early and often and kept winning. They didn't win every game. They weren't perfect. But even when they lost, they made sure that their opponent escaped Clark Field with their lives. The run in the national playoffs is really where this team rose beyond every expectation. They dismantled the top scoring team in the country, Adrian College at Clark Field, and then sent Claremont Mudscripts back to California in the following round. In the regional finals, the team faced off with defending national champion Salisbury University, yet again. The Seagulls had beaten the Bullets in the national semifinals in both 2009 and 2010, but a very different story unfolded at Seagull Stadium on that fateful day. Despite facing a 4-goal deficit early in the game, Gettysburg roared back with 7 consecutive goals, and the defense held firm at the end of the game to knock Salisbury from its perch atop Division III. Through everything, this team remained in the present, as Coach Cantelli so often reiterates. Off the field, they were lively and engaging, talking about their lives and inquiring about the lives of others. One of my fondest memories of this team was retelling the story of the engagement to my wife on the bus ride to New York City for the national championship game. They kept things light and fun, and they were an absolute joy to be around every second of every day. On the field, their focus was completely on the task at hand, and nothing would stop them from reaching their goals. Despite winning 20 straight games and being the odds-on favorite to win the national title that year, Cortland was the next team to feel Gettysburg's wrath. Falling by a 13-11 count under the lights at Matamid Field, I had to mess something up, right? Matamid Field on the campus of Adelphi University. Of course, we all expected to face that wonderful team in New Jersey, TC&J, in the finals, but unfortunately, the Lions were knocked off by another upstart team from Maine, Bowdoin College. For those history buffs in the room, you'll recognize Bowdoin for serving as the alma mater and workplace of Joshua Chamberlain, famous for leading a decisive charge down Little Round Top, just south of town during the Battle of Gettysburg. Unfortunately for the Polar Bears, on that field in 2011, Chamberlain was not present to quiet the storm of bullets they faced on that Long Island field. Gettysburg ran past Bowdoin in the title game, erupting for the first 5 goals in like 5 minutes and jumping ahead by 10 with 4 minutes to go in the first half. From my perch in the press box, I remember the commentators for the broadcast turning to me and asking, "Is this team for real?" Yep, I guess so. We won the title game 16-5, marking the most lopsided national championship in 27 years. The team rushed the field after the final horn with seniors Marnie Commons, Becky Lutz, and Laura McIntyre anchoring the midfield celebration. There's a picture of Carol. It's actually up here. You can see it. She's got the trophy in hand. She loves that picture. Right, Carol? She's running onto the field after being handed the national championship trophy. I don't know if she knew what to do with it at first, but the smile on her face is undeniable as she ran to meet her amazing team so they could all hoist the glistening trophy to the sky together. The party was on. The festivities were so jubilant and exciting that a certain sports information director was left behind when the bus rolled off at Delphi's campus. Thankfully, my friend Kelsey Markowitz, who couldn't be here tonight, remembered I was missing. I was in the seat in front of her, and the bus came back to get me so I wasn't stranded in the largest city in the United States. Accompanied by a police escort through the Gettysburg Borough, the team rolled onto Broadway Avenue with the lights of Clark Field aglow. Despite hosting commencement that day, more than 100 members of the campus community came out to greet the returning champions at midnight. Smiles, hugs, tears, and laughter abounded around the new piece of hardware to add to the trophy cases. In the months that followed, the team was honored over and over, both as individuals and as a team. There was a breakfast with the board, recognition by the Gettysburg Borough Council, an appearance at the Hall of Athletic Honor that fall, and of course, the joyous ring ceremony the following winter. The celebration didn't stop on campus until the new season rolled around and the team turned their eyes to the task at hand once again. There's one part to the story I haven't mentioned yet. 33 days before the national title game, the communications and marketing team was at Clark Field to get some video of the lacrosse team for a marketing campaign. We were revving up for the Gettysburg Great campaign. Has anybody heard Gettysburg Great? Yeah? Okay. The players were asked, what inspires you to be Gettysburg Great? The answers covered a range of topics from coaches to teammates to playing on a great field named after the late, great John Clark. One player had a much more specific and prophetic answer. I'm Becky Lutz. I'm a senior from Madison, Connecticut. And becoming national champions is what makes us Gettysburg Great. I'm not sure anyone else on the team was thinking about that goal at the time, but that claim helped put the team on the path to greatness. This team lived up to the Gettysburg Great moniker not because of the national trophy they brought home and the acclaim that followed. No, it was because they remained focused on the path ahead throughout the journey, all the while smiling and enjoying each precious moment with each other. That's the reason this team achieved greatness, and that is why this team has been named our next team of distinction. You can clap now. So if the members of the 2000 women's lacrosse team could please line up to your left over here, and you will come up to the stage on the steps over there very carefully, and please line up in alphabetical order. So Kendall, you lead things. So now I get to see if I can remember how to pronounce all their names. And we get to see if their Gettysburg education is paying off and they still remember the alphabet. And it's alphabetical by maiden names, too. That's just what I had on my roster. Sorry. Sorry to the husbands out there. All right, yep, come on up, Bailey, you got it. Come on, Kendall. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the 2011 women's lacrosse team. Kendall Akey, Bailey Beardsley Bundy, Katie Blumenthal Rains, Alex Casey Miller, Hannah Church Mules, Maddie Coleman, Marnie Commons, Becky Lutz Hall, Mairead McGurk, Laura McIntyre Lone, Lindsay Menton Tower, Kat Nestor, Lauren Pruitt, Lindsay Robinson, Hayward Soares Caswell, Kelly Speaker. Not able to make tonight's event are Liz Barron, Grace Chaffee, Lexi Kelly, Jen Levy, Kelsey Markowitz, Paige McKenna, Izzy Nagel, Megan Quigg, and Haley Stouch. And we can't forget about the support staff, Mike Cantelli and Kelly Jones, of course. Mike, head equipment manager, head athletic trainer, and head equipment manager. Me, I'm here, hey. And the coaching staff, Katie Hagan Duffy, Barb Jordan, and Carol Cantelli. Congratulations to this year's Team of Distinction, the 2011 Women's Lacrosse National Champions. Should we have them go this way or go back the other way? Go, Corey. I'll follow you. Thank you, everyone. I'll follow them.
Okay. Get your... Congratulations once again to the 2011 Women's Lacrosse National Championship team. And enjoy the weekend of celebration. We'll let them get back to their seats. And then we'll move on to the reason most of you are here this evening and the formal induction of our 6 new members to the Hall of Athletic Honor. The 2011 Women's Lacrosse National Championship was more than 10 years in the making, and our first inductee was a huge part of the start of that more than 2 decades of dominance and counting by the Gettysburg women's lacrosse team. Patrolling the midfield, she helped the Bullets win their first of now 13 Centennial Conference championships. Let's turn our attention to the screen and hear why Jessica Seedorf belongs in the Hall of Athletic Honor.
Jessica Seedorf began her Gettysburg College lacrosse career in 1998, and her impact was felt immediately. A two-time All-American, Seedorf held program records for both the most caused turnovers in a season and in a career at 41 and 78, respectively. Her outstanding play and great attitude helped shape Gettysburg women's lacrosse into the program it is today.
Jess Seedorf, the player, was just phenomenal. She led by example in every game. She was the ground ball queen. You could always count on her winning those 40-60 balls. She was also just proficient at both ends of the field, just dominating in defense in particular, fantastic with her timing of checks and causing turnovers, and then being a huge part of helping the ball on the offensive end by creating space and freeing up the ball for some players to work their magic. Without her, we could have never achieved all that we had during her time here. You know, Jess played a midfielder, and that's a difficult role because you have to be really dialed in with both ends of the field. And as a captain, you are leading both ends of the field, and she was just so instrumental in that. And many times she actually was our transition. Jess's leadership was very unique in that she was not one of those commanding the attention. She just led by example, and she led in a way that was reassuring, that said, "We got this, follow me," that was steady, that was calm, and that was demonstrated just by the little things that she did that made big differences. People wanted to follow her, including this coach. Jess and her teammates really began to believe that this program had the potential to be even bigger than it was. And I attribute a lot of that to everyone really buying into the vision of the program and Jess leading in that forefront of, hey, why not us? They started really believing by doing. And when you see someone utilizing that mindset, people catch on. And she was someone that people respected so much that they were going to follow her. What's really special to see for Jess is that all of her efforts, all of her commitment, all of her work was rewarded by being named the first Centennial Conference Player of the Year for Gettysburg College, three-time conference player, three-time All-American. These are things that were results of all of her efforts. But what is really special is that all the other players that came and followed her said, "There's Jess Seedorf, Player of the Year. I want that." And I believe that she really got our program solidified and on the map, and people began to really take a good look at all the players that followed her. For me, her coach, she was the barometer of knowing when the team had had enough. When she was tired, then I knew we had achieved what we needed to do from a training standpoint. When she gave a look to me that said, "We got it, coach, let's move forward," it was just invaluable. She was someone that was so dialed in at practices that when we she knew how to help the coaching staff, she knew how to motivate and keep people on task by not only her example, but just by her encouragement and humor and positivity.
Seedorf graduated from Gettysburg College in 2001 with a degree in psychology. She and her husband have 2 sons and 1 daughter.
Every team needs an anchor. Every team needs a person that helps keep the boat steady. And this was our player. Dorf was consistent, trustworthy, enthusiastic, and super talented, and was a ground ball machine. I'm so excited to welcome Jess in this very deserving honor of being in the Hall of Honor for Gettysburg College.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jessica Seedorf.
What an indescribable moment. I feel so fortunate to be here tonight. Thank you to Gettysburg College, the Orange and Blue Club, and everyone who has had a role in putting this incredible night together. Congratulations to the other honorees. What an impressive group. Congratulations. I was lucky enough to graduate with Missy and Tommy, and I know firsthand what giants they were on this campus. They were both incredible athletes, obviously, but they carried themselves with integrity and were just stellar individuals. They are so deserving of this honor. In preparing for this moment, I've been given the gift of time. Just over 3 years. It's been a wonderful experience getting to live in the anticipation of this weekend. I've looked through old memorabilia, photos, and have been able to relive moments as if they were yesterday. Even at night, I've had countless dreams of myself back on campus and on the lacrosse field. Unfortunately, those dreams recently have turned to nightmares, which I've not enjoyed. You know, the ones where you don't have your uniform and you can't run. So I apologize to my husband, Sean. He's a good sport to deal with this. Oh, this is falling. It's probably not good. Put this back on. I grew up in a family with 3 older brothers on a block full of boys. In front of our house most days, there were games of baseball, football, and of course, lacrosse. I would sit and watch all of the action, but was never permitted to play. I was considered too young and was a girl. When I would throw a ball back into play, they would tell me it was pretty good for a girl. Hearing this, I would feel the hair on my neck stick up, and there and then I became determined to prove them wrong. In 4th grade, I played lacrosse for the first time. I fell in love, and I was quick, and I loved the speed of the game. The varsity players nicknamed me Pinky because my cheeks would flush after giving it my all. I knew right away I had found my place. My parents, who have always been super supportive, gave in when I begged for a wooden cranberry stick. They were all the rage in those days. I practiced every afternoon and would bring it to all the home varsity games to cheer on my new idols. I was lucky to grow up with a core group of friends who all loved the thrill of sports and competition as much as I did. We bounced from one sports season to the next, led by amazing coaches who instilled in us the love of athletics. We experienced a lot of success, and I couldn't imagine not continuing to play in college. Choosing lacrosse was an easy decision. I was able to go on some recruiting trips hoping to find the right connection. Gettysburg College and Coach Candelli really stood out. I immediately felt at ease, and the weekend left me excited to return. Playing 4 years at Gettysburg and under Coach Cantelli was a privilege. I have immense gratitude to have been part of the illustrious career and legacy that Coach established. The best part of playing, though, were the people. My teammates, my coaches, the staff, the Kelly Jones, the Mike Cantellis, they all made the experience of playing so enjoyable and memorable. I joined the program at the perfect time. The team was starting to have some success, and I was welcomed into the program, led by amazing and talented upperclassmen. There was always a true sense of community in the program, and we felt valued even though we were underclassmen. My teammates and I had a genuine appreciation and love of the game. We truly supported one another, trusted each other, and pushed one another to be our best. We were as close off the field as we were on, and that created that spark that allowed us to reach new heights. We were a rowdy bunch, but boy, did we have fun. There were lots of laughter and amazing memories which have shaped me into the person I am today. To my parents, thank you for being my anchors. You've always been my biggest fans and source of support. You drove up and down the coast making most of our games, even doing the drive back and forth from Long Island in one day, and New York traffic is no joke. To my brothers, including Jeremy, who made it here tonight, thank you for always being incredible role models. I am grateful to have your support and know you will always be in my corner. Thank you to Coach Cantelli. You saw the potential in me and invested in me as a player, but also as a person. Thank you for all you have done for me in this program. I feel so humbled to be a small piece of your legacy. To my teammates, including Waldron, Porter, Buca, and Ward, who are here tonight, it is a bit strange to receive this honor when none of it was possible without all of you. I never wanted to let any of you down, and this recognition is really for all of you too. It doesn't matter that time may have passed. When we are together, it feels like we are 19 again. We are truly teammates for life, and I am so grateful. To my in-laws and nieces, thank you for sharing this moment with me. It means so much that you made the long journey here. To my husband, Sean, my chosen teammate for life, thank you for always stepping up and being my rock. And to my children, you are my light. I hope you find your passion, your place, whether it is through sports, even field hockey, Maeve, or through whatever brings you the most joy. And lastly, thank you to everyone else who is here tonight for being part of this truly unforgettable evening for me. Thank you.
The Bullets softball team was just a year old when our next inductee arrived in Gettysburg. Anyone who knows softball knows that a dominant pitcher can make all the difference. With her leadership and excellence in the circle, the program blossomed early. Let's hear more about what made Judy Langen special and what earns her a spot in the Hall of Athletic Honor.
Judy Langen began her softball career at Gettysburg in 1982, only 1 year after the program was established. She became a breakout star of the young program, and her impressive record as a pitcher helped to put Gettysburg softball on the map.
Judy and I came to Gettysburg the same year. She was recruited by the previous coach, so I got to know Judy as a freshman. And she's a very skilled pitcher. And she had a great, her personality was very fitting for a pitcher as well, because she cared very much about her craft and she worked hard at it. And even as a freshman, she had a maturity about her that I really appreciated. She was serious about her skills. She worked to get better, and she was a very successful pitcher for us. No one could put more pressure on her than she put on herself. She had high personal expectations, but also her teammates loved her. She was just a great teammate.
Competing in the first 5 years of Gettysburg College's softball history, Langen held a total of 9 records, including most wins and strikeouts in a season and in a career. Her career win record at 35 games stood for 11 years. Her record of 195 strikeouts in a career stood for over 2 decades. Langen was a 3-time All-MAC Southern Division All-Star and boasted a 1.16 ERA on her career. Over her 4 years, she led the new softball program to a 62-14 record.
She was incredible, and she was the person. She went in there and she took up the challenge, and she dominated in the league right from the beginning. And as I said, because she took her skills seriously, and she was a competitor, and she had high expectations. And so she was instrumental in really putting Gettysburg softball on the map. She and a number of other people that came at that time, but certainly she carried the load as the pitcher for the softball program. Judy was so consistent and so dependable as a memory. It's just knowing, Judy's pitching, and she's going to give it her all, and we always have a shot when she's on the mound. That was great. She had a good sense of humor about things. Her teammates loved her, and she was dependable. She was, as I said, she had high expectations, a fierce competitor. She was very bright, an excellent student too. So she was a great representative of what Gettysburg's all about. They had fought to even just get a field when we were there. We had a little field by the president's office, whatever's there now, in his backyard. And I don't think the president really appreciated us playing softball kind of in his backyard either. But instead of complaining about these kind of facilities, they never did. They just played hard, competed hard, and Judy was a big part of that, and put softball on the map for Gettysburg. She had a whole number of gifts, pitching softball being just one of them. So, I knew she's got it going on, and she's going to do really well in life. And so I felt so blessed to have known her and had her on the team. She was just one of those people.
Judy Langen graduated from Gettysburg in 1985 with a Bachelor of Arts and earned her MBA from Iona College.
Why does Judy belong in the Hall of Fame? Because at a time when women's sports were still in their infancy, and the softball program was in its infancy, she came as a freshman and right out of the gate set the tone from the pitching mound. She dominated the league. She was an excellent teammate. She was an excellent student. She gave her all. She fought through serious knee injuries and still managed to have a very, very low ERA. And I think she's an excellent role model for young women as far as working at your craft, being good at it, taking pride in how you contribute to an organization. And she played a major role in our softball team's success.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Judy Langdon.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That was fun. I'm so glad to be here tonight. Gettysburg has always been a very happy place for me, and I'm thrilled to be here to accept this honor. Thank you to the Orange and Blue Club and the selection committee for celebrating my softball career in this way, and for including me among this group of talented athletes and coaches, or my fellow inductees. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you, Coach Higgins, for taking the time to make that video to reminisce about our years together. Can't think of a better person to have done that video, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, so thank you. My first year playing softball at Gettysburg was 1982, 40 years ago. Ugh. When the program was in its infancy. My freshman year was the second year of the program, and the first year with Kay Higgins as the women's softball and basketball coach. Coach Higgins was not much older than we were at the time. I think she was actually in her early 20s. But I'll never forget the deep respect she earned from all of her players that year and throughout her years at Gettysburg. And that, I think when I think back, I think it was just due to her knowledge and her love of the game and her desire to win. I'm forever grateful to Coach Higgins for being a mentor to me and such a positive influence throughout my own college years. So up to today, I was really, really surprised when I received notice of this honor a couple of years ago. I've been lucky enough to have been a member of two teams recognized by the Hall of Athletic Honor, the 1983 and 1985 women's softball teams. And as I think my teammates would agree, I was certainly not the most talented all-around player on our team. For example, my first time in the batter's box, I injured my knee, so that put an end to what could have been a stellar batting career, or not. And I think most memorably for me and my family is that I had this special ability to make Coach Higgins, my teammates, spectators, passers-by, all hold their breath when I was put into the unfortunate situation of having to field a ground ball and throw it to first base, which at times just did not end well for me. But thanks to all the hours spent with my dad in the backyard practicing all kinds of pitches, I was somehow able to throw a fastball, changeup, riser, and drop pitch with the best of them. And I was just happy to be able to do this to help us win. And win we did, with records of 16-1 in 1983 and 22-2 in 1985. Thank you so much to all my teammates for all of these wins and for the fun we had. There are too many to name here, but I would like to mention a few who I was so lucky to have known and played with. Karen Tesmer, who's here tonight, who cheered me on from center field and represented the heart of our team. Sue Marshall, a superbly talented all-around athlete, and the other half of our pitching duo. who inspired me to be at my best. Denise Babinchak, who fielded my wild throws to first base, and who, along with Jenny Smith and Kim Miller, quietly led the rest of us by example. Lastly, thank you so much to my friends and family who are here. My lifelong friend and fellow Gettysburg alum, Ginger, thank you for choosing to live in Gettysburg for all these years after college, which gave me a great reason to visit over the years. Karen Tessmer, another lifelong friend, thanks for making the trip down from Boston during this busy time at the start of your basketball season at Worcester State. My mom is here, who spent many a game cheering while holding her breath in anticipation of that dreaded ground ball hit my way. My sister Karen, a talented and dedicated athlete who chose to pitch for Colgate, but we will not hold that against her. Thank you for inspiring me to follow your footsteps into women's sports. My nephews, Scott and Andrew, thanks guys for being with me here tonight. And a special shout out to Andrew for following my steps toward Gettysburg, where he played baseball and graduated with the class of 2016. Finally, to my dad, who's here in spirit, and who started this journey with me long ago in the backyard, coaching me every step of the way. I share this honor with you, Dad. Thanks very much.
As an offensive lineman, your work typically goes unnoticed to the general public, while others around you on offense get all the accolades. To garner recognition from the trenches requires true greatness. That's exactly what can be said about our next inductee and the role he played in taking the Bullets football team to the top of the Centennial Conference and the national semifinals. Let's hear more about why Bob Lewis deserves this spot in the Hall of Athletic Honor.
Bob Lewis came to Gettysburg in 1982 and became a key player for the Gettysburg football program his sophomore year. Lewis was a 3-year starter at offensive center and helped Gettysburg win the first 3 Centennial Conference championships and make an NCAA Division III semifinals run.
First of all, Bob Lewis was an outstanding football player. He was an outstanding lineman, probably one of the top 2 or 3 I've ever coached in my 40 years or more of coaching. He was our center. I believe he started for 3 years. Obviously, a lot of accolades. But the big thing about him was 2 things. Number one, our center makes the calls. Well, he was such a sharp guy mentally that he'd make those calls right away, make sure guys knew what they were doing, that kind of thing. And secondly, he was tenacious. I would tell him, you don't stop until the whistle blows. And that's a normal thing that you tell everybody. But you'll see on film that there aren't many teams that have offensive linemen that go until the whistle blows. Bobby Lewis, more than 2 or 3 times, many times, he would run his guy off the field.
Lewis delivered every snap from center for 3 seasons starting his sophomore year. The Bullets offense, anchored by Lewis, averaged over 300 yards per game in 1983 and 1984. The team won the first ever Centennial Conference Championship in 1983 and repeated their success the next 2 seasons. In 1985, the team posted the only unbeaten record in school history at 11 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie, and made it to the NCAA Division III semifinals. This was the best national finish in Centennial Conference history, a feat that was only tied by Johns Hopkins in 2018 and Muhlenberg in 2019. Lewis led an offensive line that finished 8th in the nation in rushing offense and posted a season-high 423 rushing yards against Hampton-Sydney in 1985. Lewis was named to the All-Centennial Conference first team at center his junior and senior year, and added an All-ECAC South Region first team distinction his senior year.
He worked every day. He didn't say much. He led by example. he was just tenacious from a blocking standpoint. Everybody respected him. Everybody knew that, and we had a full line of guys that would do that, though. And of course, him being in the middle is kind of the catalyst for the whole thing. I was blessed coaching those guys because I put them through. There wasn't anything that I did that I asked them to do or that I demanded that they do, they didn't do. And it was led by him. And as I said, he was the catalyst because he controlled what call was being made. Now, there are some other calls that were made by the guards and the tackles sometimes, but the center was a guy that began with him, identifying the front, the defensive front, and going from there. And his work ethic on the field.
Bob Lewis graduated with a degree in business administration in 1986. He is the coach and director of the Kennelin Youth Football Program in his hometown of Kennelin, New Jersey. The program teaches the fundamentals of football as well as the importance of civic duty. Lewis is a respected businessman and is married to his wife Terry, also a Gettysburg alum. They have 4 children, including a son, Brett, who is on the Gettysburg football team.
Our offensive line at that time, he said, was amazing, and what they did, and what kind of discipline they had, and that kind of thing. And again, it's kids like Bobby Lewis that made that happen. I was so proud of him as a player. I'm so proud of him and what kind of man he has become, what kind of father he's become. He's got a son that's on the team here in Gettysburg now. He's a leader in his community. I'm just so proud of the person that he is. Probably more so than anything. I believe Bob is deserving of this honor to be in the Hall of Athletic Honor in Gettysburg because, number one, of the man he has become. Number two, because of his leadership, his toughness, and he was a 3-time all-conference player as an offensive lineman. There might have been 2 other guys that were, 2 or 3 guys in the history of my tenure here that were great, that showed up like Bob. It's pretty special. He's special.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bob Lewis.
Wow. Had to laugh at some of those pictures of myself. I don't think I really look like that, but I guess I did. I just want to say hello and good evening. You just don't understand the immense power of this award until you're standing up here with all the tremendous athletes from the many different sports spanning so many years and decades. It's truly an honor to stand before you this evening as an inductee. I want to first congratulate the other amazing and deserving inductees that are being honored tonight from the class of 2020. This award has been 2 years in the making. COVID canceled twice. The class of 2020 finally inducted in 2022. Somewhere along the line, a decision was made to hold off picking any more inductees until the class of 2020 had their evening of recognition. There was talk of holding this event virtually, grouping it with another class, or simply not holding it at all. For this, I would like to thank the Orange and Blue, Corey Jewett, Nick Poehler, and our athletic director, Mike Mattia, for the decisions they made in truly preserving the significance and integrity of this award. When I got the phone call from the Orange and Blue, they said, "Bob, just want to congratulate you as an inductee, class of 2020. And I have to tell you, pretty significant. We haven't had a pure offensive lineman inducted in many, many years." And I said, "Really? Why is that?" The answer back was a quick, "No stats." And I'm sure no one plays football. I'm sure not anyone plays football for stats. Football is just an amazing team sport. It teaches you so many great life skills. It teaches you teamwork, discipline, time management, fellowship, sportsmanship, camaraderie, friendship, work ethic, mental toughness. It teaches you preparation, tradition, hard work, toughness, dedication, commitment, and civic duty. It teaches you about adversity and how to win and lose with great grace and great character. I would say, however, that football is really about relationships. I've had a 50-year amazing relationship with football. First playing at the youth level, then playing in high school, and playing here at Gettysburg, running the youth football program in my town for 15 years, to now organizing and creating the Football Alumni Association here at Gettysburg, and the fantastic things we are doing here to help mentor the current players, helping them create resumes, teaching them how to prepare for an interview, helping them find and get internships, and finally jobs. To actually playing this morning in our second annual Gettysburg Football Alumni Golf Outing to raise money for our football program. Last year we raised $12,000 that went directly to the football program. This morning we raised more than last year. The relationships continue to grow as I work with some great people in the leadership role of our alumni organization. Dr. Vic Kalman, 77, and Kevin Doyle from 1980. Dr. Vic's here tonight, and I want to say thank you to both these great men for all the work you're doing on behalf of our football program. It's been a pleasure to work with you, both of you, and we've become great friends. I also want to acknowledge and thank our current head football coach, Mo Banks, and our defensive coordinator, Mike Hoyt, both here tonight in celebration of football and our program. We hope as an alumni association we are doing everything we can to assist you in your efforts. So I wasn't really recruited here at Gettysburg. And back in the college days of the 1980s, they had that big Barron's book. I don't know if you remember it. It was the big Barron's book. And they had all the colleges categorized. Competitive, highly competitive, mostly competitive. And whatever all that meant, I knew Gettysburg was a great school. So I scheduled an interview with admissions, and I was sharpening up on my extracurricular activities to help me gain entrance. So I told admissions that I sang in the choir, and I played a little football. After the interview, I dropped over to the football office where I met Coach Streeter. I introduced myself. I said I was Bob Lewis from Kinnelon, New Jersey. He said, "Excuse me, where are you from?" I said, "Kinnelon." He said, "Never heard of it." Our meeting was brief. We talked a bit. Not sure he was really interested. Maybe he had enough offensive linemen. And as I walked out, a glimmer of hope, he said, "Hey, Bob, where are you from again?" And I piped up, "Kinnelon." He said, "Sorry, never heard of it." When I got back in the car, my father said, "Well, how did it go?" I said, "Well, not great." I said, "I'm thinking my best shot of getting in here is maybe being in the choir." So in a few weeks, the big envelope came, and I was accepted to Gettysburg, and I was ready to kick back and really enjoy my senior year of high school. Then just a few days later, I got another envelope from Gettysburg. This time it was from Barry Streeter and the football office. I said, "Wait a minute. I never told him I was going to play." I said, we didn't talk any money. I just wanted to get into the school. So I opened it up, and it was a weightlifting program for the month of April. I took that envelope and put it right on top of the refrigerator. A few days later, another envelope from Barry Streeter and the football office appeared. It was a follow-up with a conditioning program. I said, "This guy's out of his mind." Right on top of the refrigerator. From then on, anything that came in the mail from Gettysburg with the words Gettysburg on it, I didn't even open it. I just put it right on top of the refrigerator. So the summer blew by, and I showed up at camp, and I was awestruck at the raw talent of the football players on the team. I remember at practice having a view of the entire team working, and I looked out and I said to myself, wow, everyone here is just as good as me, if not better. So school started, and so did the games. And it was like week 3 of the season, and I said, you know, I better go in and talk to the coach. So it was like a Tuesday morning, and I went into my position coach's office, Kevin Higgins, who's now the assistant coach at Wake Forest, and I said, Coach, I said, do you remember during camp when you said if we had a problem, we can come in and talk to you? And he was so happy. One of his players was coming in, yes, Bobby, what can I do for you? I remember he got up, he put the chairs right across he could be right across from me. He said, Bobby, what can I do for you? And I said, well, Coach, you see, I don't have any classes. And he said, you mean, Bobby, what do you mean? You're not going to class? And I said, well, not exactly, Coach. You see, I don't have any classes. He says, Bobby, it's the 3rd week of the season. What have you been doing? And I said, playing football, Coach. Well, he says, what did you do with all the stuff they sent you over the summer to pick out your classes? I said, it's on top of the refrigerator. So in about 20 minutes, I had the deans picking my classes for me. That wasn't a pretty sight. And at the end of my sophomore year evaluation, Coach Higgins said, quite frankly, Bob, I didn't think you were long for the program or the school. Probably every athlete in here had that one day that something happened in their athletic career, the day they got noticed, or as in my case, the day I got moved up. It was my freshman year. It was just past midway in the season, and I got really sick. I mean like malaria, mono, flu sick, sweating, muscle aches, 102 fever, just hurts to move. You know, the only type of sick you can get as a freshman in college. Well, I slept in, couldn't go to class, set my alarm for practice, and I got up and I was wringing wet. I figured there's no way I could make practice. I walked over to the training room. I was getting my ankles taped, and Lefty Beiser, who was the trainer, came over and looked at me and says, what's wrong with you, boy? And he says, I'm going to take your temperature. I remember he put the thermometer in my mouth. I lay down. I fell asleep on the table, and he came back, snatched it from my mouth, and it was 102.6. And he said, you're not practicing today. I'll let the coaches know. So I went back over to the locker. I sat on the bench, and I looked at my practice pants on the floor, and I was going to throw them back in the locker and go back to my room. But I reached down, put one leg in, and then the other, and before I knew it, I was outside trying to make it up onto the field. I was walking, and we had this rule. Once you got to the train tracks, you had to run the rest of the way to the field, and it was far. So as I got to the train tracks, I mustered up the lightest jog you could ever imagine, and it was far up to the field, and each step was sheer pain. I finally made it and was going through the motions of practice, just trying to get through. I was a freshman on the demo squad, as we called it, and we were running Hopkins plays against our first team defense. It was about halfway through, and I was just hoping to make it, and the next thing I know, the second team center was standing in the huddle, and he looked at me and says, they want you. He was huffing and puffing really hard, and I said, what? He said, no, they want you. I said, where? He said, up there. So I ran up the hill, got into a huddle. They called some play. I had no idea what to do. And as I broke the huddle, I saw freshman nose guard Tommy Scalisi from Bergen County lined up at nose guard. Now, Tommy was tough as nails, very strong. He had the 5 o'clock shadow at 9 in the morning, and he was built like a bowling ball. I got down to hike the ball. Tommy got down in his stance, the snap, and I blew him back about 8 yards, and the coaches went ballistic crazy. Back in the huddle, another play, same thing, 8 yards. This went on for a while, and then there was a break in the play, and I looked up, and I realized, and I said to myself, I'm in the first team huddle. What happened was the first team center went down pretty serious, and the second team guy had to step in, and the nose guard Tommy was beating him up pretty badly to the point they figured they couldn't play him in the game if they had to. So they called for me. So my story is really a true life lesson on how everyone needs to continually push themselves. Because the day I was the sickest, the day I felt the sorriest for myself, The day I almost didn't go to practice was the day I got moved up. For sure, I would not be standing here tonight if I had taken the easy way out. And I tell all my kids and anyone I ever coach, and it's true, whoever said 80% of success is just showing up, it's just so true. And I'm happy to be able to share that story with you. You don't get this award on your own without the help of so many people. My teammates, this award is truly a celebration of my teammates. I had the honor and privilege to work with the greatest and most talented football players one could ever imagine. A lot of them are here tonight, and I was happy to see them and connect with them at this morning's golf tournament. Without question, my most valuable and meaningful football relationships were created here at Gettysburg with my teammates. From the day I stepped on the field as a freshman, I knew something was really special. We worked harder and pushed each other every week. We won 3 consecutive conference championships in 1983, 84, and 85, and the 85 team, my senior year, went undefeated, the only football team in Gettysburg history to do so. That undefeated regular season was followed with a trip to the Division III playoffs, making it into the Final Four. A huge tribute and great team effort to everyone I played with. My offensive line. For as good as our team was, everyone spoke about how good the defense was or how good our running backs were, but at the end of the conversation, it always came back to just how good that offensive line was. And we were, without a doubt, the best offensive line in Division III football. And nobody worked harder on our team than the offensive line. We continually challenged each other every day to be the best. We ran Barry Streeter's version of the Delaware wing T offense to perfection. It was misdirection, ball control, power running, and a 4-down offense. When we played, it was literally 60 minutes of hand-to-hand combat. Our offensive line was the engine of that offense. I can't tell you how many 4th down and 2 yards on our own 20-yard line situations we had, and it wasn't even a second thought. We weren't punting, we were going for it. And there wasn't a person in that stadium that didn't think we were getting those 2 yards and maybe more. We were blessed to have 2 outstanding All-American running backs to block for. They were Ray Condren and Paul Martin. Ray actually had a tryout with the Miami Dolphins, and Paul Martin still holds the school record for rushing attempts and the most yards in 1985. And between Ray and Paul, they still hold so many school records, too many to name. They were just phenomenal athletes and 2 of the most humble people that I know. But as far as stats go, we, the offensive line, used to tell them that those first 3 yards are ours. And they would say, oh yeah, well, what are we supposed to do after that? And we would literally tell them, put a move on, baby. That's what we're paying you for. Again, I couldn't be more proud to be part of the greatest offensive line in Division III history. I would like to name them. Our 7-man, Jack Clark, and our 3-man, Mike McDyer. Both are here tonight, just tremendous people and football players. Our 6-man, Dennis Curran, yours truly, 5-man, and our 4-man, Andy Cohen. I mentioned Andy last because we just lost Andy this year on Good Friday to the early onset of Alzheimer's. Lehigh's head football coach, most winningest coach ever, my best friend, college roommate, fraternity brother, confidant, comrade, teammate, offensive lineman extraordinaire. Andy was the lifeblood of that 85 team, the spiritual leader and a huge reason for our success. I miss you, brother, and I know you're here with me tonight. My coaches, so blessed to have such great coaches and mentors, such great men still in my life. Coach Higgins, who had his start at Gettysburg and coached in the NFL and is now the assistant coach at Wake Forest, I cannot thank you enough for finding the true player in me and pushing me to limits that I didn't even know I could do. Coach Campo, who is here tonight, is just one of the most genuine, great person I've ever met. He was our defensive coordinator in 1985. Coach, I cannot tell you how many players you have impacted so positively over the years. Coach Campo, I want you to know how blessed I am to still have you in my life. Coach Streeter, what a remarkable man of faith, principle, and character. A heck of a football coach, and the person that taught us how to battle and be accountable to one another. And that life lesson from Coach Streeter didn't stop after we graduated. Not many people know that for 2 years, when our teammate Andy was sick, at least once a month, he would come to take Andy out to lunch and to meet with us, his former players. And outside the restaurant, he would gather us all and he would pray for Andy. Coach Streeter was right there until the last week of Andy's life, visiting him in the hospice hospital. Coach Streeter was also a big help in our raising over $500,000 for Andy and his family. Coach, I cannot tell you how much Andy looked forward to your visits and just how much it meant to his family and all of our teammates to have you there. Coach Streeter, I am blessed to still have you in my life. My family. Oh boy, without a doubt, a big part of this award goes to my family. I'm truly blessed to have 4 outstanding children. Bobby, who graduated from Gettysburg in 2019. He's here with his girlfriend tonight, Hannah, who also graduated from Gettysburg. My son, Tyler, both Bobby and Tyler played lacrosse in college, Tyler at Susquehanna. My daughter, Lainey, played Division I soccer at Quinnipiac. To my son, Brett, who's here tonight as a proud sophomore member of our Bullet football team. Brett, I cannot tell you how proud I am of your success. You are truly a better football player than me. Keep working hard. Be a warrior. I mentioned Gettysburg is about relationships, and I met my wife here at Gettysburg, and we've been married for 29 years. When I say Terry is just the best thing that has ever happened to me, I mean it. She's just an amazing wife and mother. Terry, thank you for the wonderful life and family we have made together. I am blessed to still have both my parents in my life, my mother, who always supported me throughout my football career. I cannot thank her enough for her support. My father and stepmother, Cindy, who are both here tonight, I don't think they missed the game in 4 years. I can't thank you enough for being there for me and here tonight. Thank you for all the love and guidance you have provided for me. I can only hope I am passing it along to my children as good as you've passed it to me. So thanks again to my family and my guests that are here tonight who have joined me, my coaches, and especially my teammates. Without all of you, none of this would have been possible. Thank you, and God bless.
The perennial success of the Gettysburg men's lacrosse team is no secret. Like his midfield counterpart earlier this evening, our next inductee was one of the key members of that late 90s, early 2000s success that helped vault the Bullets back to the top of the conference and into the Division III championship game for the first time. Let's hear more about why Tommy Pierce is worthy of his spot in the Hall of Athletic Honor.
Tommy Pierce was recruited to Gettysburg in 1997 and became a standout player for the men's lacrosse program. A 2-time All-American and Centennial Conference Player of the Year, Pierce made the most of his time at Gettysburg and used it to carry himself and his career onward.
Tommy, if you just look at him, he was such a strong player, you know, such a really great athlete, and had really the tenacity. He could play defense, he could play offense, he could play on the wing. You know, you just liked having him. He's a man-up player. We even considered him playing a man down, except we just didn't want to run him into the ground, you know. Just loved playing, loved being, and would do anything he could to be part of it, because he became a really great team player and a really good leader. And so his team and his teammates and how they felt and them making them feel good about being part of it was important at times.
Tommy Pierce boasts 2 All-American honors, Centennial Conference Player of the Year, and a Centennial Conference First Team selection. Over his 4 years, he led Gettysburg to 4 conference title wins and 4 national playoff appearances. In 2001, his 35 goals, 24 assists and 58 ground balls led Gettysburg to its first national championship game.
The truth was, we had some solid middies, but Tommy was one of those exceptional guys that are going to get you to the promised land, you know what I mean? At the midfield, Tommy was the man, you know, and we really needed somebody there. We needed someone that would take on a long pole and be able to beat him, and you know, they would have to double him even with 2 long poles sometime, or they'd have to do something to stop Tom, which really opened up a lot of our people. I do remember an overtime game, I think it was against Salisbury, and Tommy was, he had the ball and was up top, and they double teamed, Tom ran away and found an open guy on the edge of the crease and stuck it, and we won that. That was a big game for us. And to beat them in overtime was incredible. And of course we gave Tommy the ball to make something happen. And of course he drew a double and he found the extra guy and he stuck it. You know? Really a lot of mental preparation on my part. It was give Tom the ball. And Tommy was awesome, you know. He was an English major. He cared about different things. He was a guy on campus too, you know, so he wasn't just a lacrosse player, you know. There was a lot of things about Tommy you just loved, you know, how he cared about the campus and how he had so many other friends that were not on the team, and certainly cared about the team and everything, but was a well-rounded guy, you know.
Tommy Pierce graduated in 2001 with a bachelor's degree in English and a master's degree in physical education. In 2006, Pierce returned to Gettysburg as an assistant coach. As assistant coach, he helped the team claim 4 Centennial Conference titles and make 4 appearances in the NCAA tournament, including as runner-up in 2009. In 2008, he was named the Intercollegiate Men's Lacrosse Coaches Association Division III Outstanding Assistant Coach.
Tommy coached for us, for 4 years, and then with Tommy coaching with me, I really empowered them like I did when he was on the field. And great things happened, not only in his recruiting, but the way he handled the kids and disciplined them and encouraged them to work hard, but the way he worked so hard in becoming a really good offensive coordinator. I remember people calling me and saying, well, what are you doing in offense? And I'm the head coach, and I would put Tommy on the phone.
After his stint at Gettysburg, he established and became the head coach of the men's lacrosse program at Frostburg State in 2011, where he remained for 6 years. He was named CAC Coach of the Year twice in that role. Recently, he was named the first ever men's lacrosse coach at Allegheny College.
He really took a program that, started from scratch, and in a few years made it a top 15, 12 program in the country. I mean, man, how can you do that, And Tommy did it. I think his recruiting, I think, being able to coach the way he did. He's a leader, and he's a worker, and he's organized, And he has some high expectations, and he knows how to follow through. And he really built that program. Tommy Pierce deserves to be in the athletic honor here at Gettysburg, simply because A, he's one of the finest people I ever known. B, he is one of the best lacrosse players to ever play the game here at Gettysburg College. C, he's just a great, human being to me, and I'm really proud to call him my friend now. If I went from coach to play with somebody who's maybe a mentor to now a friend, and I'm really proud of him.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Pierce.
I want to start off by thanking the selection committee and the Orange and Blue Club and congratulating all the other inductees tonight. And everyone that made this event happen, everybody that's here and maybe people that aren't here after the first couple attempts at this that made some effort before too. Between attending my younger sister's multiple Hall of Fame inductions long before mine tonight and all the ones I've attended with my job, I've heard some really amazing Hall of Fame induction speeches. I've also seen some people get up here and get emotional and struggle through them, and I wasn't really sure which way I was going to go. Coach, you didn't make it any easier there. So I think I'm going to try to keep this to the point because I don't want to start to get emotional and have a lot of speech to get through here. I think if I can get through thanking my mom and dad and Coach Jay first off, then hopefully I can make it from there. So, Mom and Dad, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. This opportunity it was available to me because you made it available to me. And I think, thank you for instilling the work ethic in me that I learned from you and has kind of just stayed with me throughout my life. Looking back, I see that there was really never a major opportunity that my sister or I ever wanted that we didn't have, and yet somehow my parents always managed to do such an amazing job of just making me feel as though all those opportunities were gifts. We never took them for granted, even though we seemed to have all the opportunities that we wanted, and that when we got an opportunity to work as hard as we could at it and to make the absolute most of it. So I think that mentality and the work ethic that my parents instilled in me is why I had such a great experience at Gettysburg and had a lot of success with all my teammates. That's why I'm up here today. Coach Janzik, my parents raised me, and then I continued to grow up a lot more with you. In my time as a player and as an assistant here, thank you for all the ways that you've coached me as a lacrosse player, as an assistant coach in life and becoming a man. Thank you for supporting me and believing in me all along. I can never repay you. Thank you to all my teammates. It's an honor to have so many of them here tonight. Guys that I played with, guys that I played and coached with, which is really special. All those guys that I played with and also was an assistant coach with for the 4 years that I was here as an assistant coach. You guys are all here tonight, and it means a lot to me. I wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for my teammates. That goes without saying. So thank you to all my teammates. I would have never become a college lacrosse coach if I didn't have an amazing student athlete experience at Gettysburg. I just wouldn't have wanted to go do that and try to make student athletes have a similar experience as student athletes to the one that I had here at Gettysburg. So, that my experience here is what motivated me to pursue the career path that I did. They said it a couple times up there. I was an English major here at Gettysburg and a creative writing minor. So thanks to my Gettysburg education, I can write some really, really eloquent and grammatically correct recruiting emails. But my career education happened across the street in Bream-Wright-Hauser, over here on Musselman Stadium before it was Shirk Field, and then again after when I was back here as a coach. Learning a lot about lacrosse from Coach Janzik. And I gravitated to the athletic department at Gettysburg College from day one. My undergraduate work-study job was in the equipment room. So I was in the equipment room for lots of hours every day, working for Rose Lenahan and Kelly Jones and getting to know all the coaches. And so, after 4 years from being gone from here and coming back to be an assistant coach, there were a lot of familiar faces. And I got to be around just an extremely successful athletic department, great coaches, great people. Picked up some additional experience working in the athletic communications office a little bit, being an assistant strength coach. And then obviously the success that we had here when I was an assistant coach and the award that it earned me, obviously, just vaulted my career from there. I was able to become a head coach and make a little bit more money than assistant coaches do to make myself a little bit more comfortable. But just to move on and forward in my career, thanks to Coach Janzik and thanks to Gettysburg. So thanks to the entire athletic department and all the coaches that I was around in my time here. Obviously, to be standing up here today, I did a lot of things right while I was here. I think that towards the end, I really figured it out academically and actually made the dean's list a couple times. Obviously had a great experience on the lacrosse field. We had a ton of success. But, kind of in preparing for this night, when I look back at this and I think about the thing that I value the most, it's in the fact that I didn't make all the right decisions all the time. And I had a environment here at Gettysburg with my coaches and my teammates and my friends where, when I didn't make the right decision, it was an environment where I could lean on other people and I could learn from it and I could do the right thing the next time. So just the environment that I had here to be able to grow as a person, to be able to make a mistake, and as Coach Janzik says, to fail forward and become a better person for it is something that I'll treasure forever. And 21 years later, I still have that same environment with the same people. So that's just invaluable to me, and I think the thing that I'll take away from Gettysburg the most. Thank you.
It's no easy feat to make it to the swimming national championship meet. Our next inductee qualified 4 times and then rode that qualification to All-America honors as a junior and a senior. Her coach and fellow inductee this evening shares with us what made Missy West a special swimmer, special teammate, and why she joins the Hall of Athletic Honor.
Missy West arrived at Gettysburg College in 1997 as a recruit for the women's swim team and quickly proved her worth. She was a valuable member of the Bullets swimming squad in the water and in the locker room, becoming a true example of what it means to be a student athlete.
Missy West, Dr. West, was one of the finest people, if not the finest kid we've ever coached. She was a very fine athlete, and what's remarkable about her, most people don't live up to their potential. Most of us, I'll include myself, we rarely live up to our potential. She not only lived up to her potential as an athlete, she exceeded it.
In her first year on the team, West won 4 Centennial Conference titles, including both breaststroke events. She also broke the Bullets program record in the 200 breaststroke and posted her first NCAA qualifying time. Her impressive swims in the breaststroke all season long helped her team to a perfect 8-0 dual meet record, claiming the Centennial Conference team title for the 1997-98 season.
Missy made tremendous time drops her freshman year and really kind of surprised us. She had a tremendous work ethic. I don't remember her ever missing a practice. I don't remember her ever backing off in a practice. She was relentless. That's what it was. Between semesters before we'd go on a training trip, they'd go home for a couple of weeks and I would beg and plead, please train when you're at home. You're gonna be miserable on the training trip if you don't. And Missy was one of the few who trained during the breaks.
West was the Bullets' top breaststroker for her entire swimming career. Her sophomore year, West set the pool record in the 100 breast and broke her 200 breast record. During her junior year, she once again broke her 200 breast record and set a program record in the 100 breast. That same season, she became the program's first ever All-American in a breaststroke event by finishing 15th at Nationals in the 200 breaststroke. She repeated this success by finishing a spot better the next year and earning another All-American nod. At the end of her career, she had helped the program win 3 Centennial Conference team titles and won 7 total individual titles. Her performance in the breaststroke and her leadership as team captain her senior year helped the team to a 34-1 record in dual meets from 1997 to 2001.
The success of the team was probably more important what she did in the locker rooms than what she did in the pool. Because you get 20 plus people in the locker room and you're going to be a lot of different personalities and you're working towards the same goal, and somebody needs to set the example and show the way, and that's exactly what she did. She had great perspective for a college student. I think that's why her teammates liked her so much and respected her so much. She always put everybody else before herself. She just was a great teammate, just a great person. She was the glue that held the team together for most of the years that she swam.
West graduated from Gettysburg summa cum laude with a degree in psychology. She went on to pursue a master's degree in psychological sciences at James Madison University and a PhD in counseling psychology at Loyola University of Chicago. She has been a practicing psychologist for over a decade. She and her husband, Eric, have 3 sons, Will, JP, and Luke.
Missy West deserves to be in the Hall of Honor because of her, primarily because of her athletic achievements. And you don't go to nationals every year without being a good athlete. But she was a great ambassador for Gettysburg College. She was the true student athlete. Just had a tremendous work ethic, both in and out of the pool. I mean, she was summa cum laude. When she was here, she was an academic All-American multiple years. She was a NOR Award winner. She accomplished a great deal at Gettysburg College, and Gettysburg College was lucky to have her here. If it just had a Hall of Honor in general, she'd probably be in that too. But she's very deserving, and I'm very happy for her.
Ladies and gentlemen, Missy West.
Thank you to Gettysburg College, the athletic department, the Orange and Blue Club, for this honor to be standing here tonight. I should start my remarks by acknowledging one very obvious thing. I'm thrilled to be honored on the same evening as my coach, Mike Raleigh, because without him, and swimming for him in particular, I would not have the experience I did at Gettysburg. There would be no award tonight for me if not for Mike and Cammie. A sincere thank you to both of them and to the Raleigh family. To provide you a little background as to why the Raleighs have meant so much to me over the years, Mike and Cammie came into my life at a very critical time. In the fall of 1996, I came on my recruiting visit to Gettysburg along with my best friend from high school. Between the two of us, Mike would probably agree that my friend was the more accomplished swimmer and the more favored recruit. Like many of my teammates, I visited several other campuses around the Mid-Atlantic that fall. The following spring, as it came time for me to make my final decision about where I would be going to school, my parents and I returned to Gettysburg for another visit. My mother, who had been diagnosed with breast cancer the previous year, was weakened from treatment but was trying to keep her spirits high for me. After meeting with Mike and Cammie on the old Cub pool deck, we drove around the battlefields for a bit to discuss my choice. I could tell my dad was puzzled about what drew me to Mike's laid-back and unconventional coaching style. My mom, as mothers do, could recognize the feeling that I had about Gettysburg being the right place for me. A thunderstorm had just passed through, and as we looked back towards campus, in true storybook fashion, a rainbow appeared. My mom turned around and said something like, "Well, I think you've got your answer." I went off to Gettysburg that fall at my mom's urging, despite her declining health. I found comfort in the structure and routine of classes and practice, and poured myself into swimming in a way that I hadn't before. I was fortunate to attend nationals in St. Louis in March that year, and my parents were able to see me swim. The season wrapped up and I went home for Easter break. My mother passed away later that week. I remember Mike calling our old house phone and talking with my dad shortly after my mom's death. I couldn't really make out most of what was said, but I do remember Mike saying something like, "Don't worry, we'll take care of her." I could see the relief on my father's face, and the support from the Raleighs is something that is appreciated by me and my family to this day. Now that I'm a parent myself, I certainly realize what that kind of support meant. I realize my story is not unique in this way. I know most every one of us that swam for Mike and Cammie have a story about them like this, where they supported us in what was going on outside of the pool as much as inside the pool. Being part of Gettysburg Swimming gave me a place and a sense of home for 4 years and beyond. There were life lessons learned through sport, great times with teammates, and discipline and hard work carrying through to the other things we did in life. Being part of the swim team meant having sister and brother type relationships with my teammates. For better or for worse, we trained together, got up in the early morning hours to practice together, ate together, lived together, crab walked around the pool when we were in trouble together, and countless other shenanigans over the years. 3 years ago, I had the fun experience of planning Mike's retirement party along with my dearest friend and teammate, Liz Janelle Hall. With the help of Joe Lynch and Gettysburg College staff and other swimming alums, we had a great celebration. A few former swimmers shared their favorite memories of Mike. I won't try to compete with their remarks, but what I realized and observed that weekend was something that I probably always knew but didn't fully appreciate. The bond that Mike and Cammie developed with the people that swam for them over so many years, so many seasons, is something remarkable, and I feel very fortunate to be a small part of it. Like many of us, after Gettysburg, life took us to other places. For me, it was graduate school in Virginia, Chicago, San Diego, before finally landing in Park City, Utah. The Raleighs are the reason that so many of us have found our way back to Gettysburg over the years. The lasting relationship with the Raleigh family that goes way beyond swimming has brought me the joys of having Francesca and Mia as bridesmaids in my wedding, the two of them coming to visit me in Park City and getting to know my husband and 3 boys, keeping up with Mia's adventures in Greece, and seeing the family grow with the addition of Francesca's wonderful husband, Alper, and their beautiful daughter, Clementine. I don't think I would have ever imagined a simple decision to go to Gettysburg College and swim for Mike and Cammie would turn into an enduring relationship and family bond, but I'm appreciative of that beyond measure. Thank you.
For 34 years, there was no name more synonymous with Gettysburg Swimming than our final inductee. The fact that he and his wife Cammie guided the Bullets to 42 total conference titles is just the start of what makes Mike Raleigh worthy of a spot in the Hall of Athletic Honor. A few of his former swimmers tell us more.
Mike Raleigh was named Gettysburg's head swimming coach in 1985, a position that he held for 34 storied years. He shaped the program and its swimmers into confident award winners, and his legacy is one of success and love for the sport and his athletes.
The word I would use to describe Mike and his coaching style is connection. He has a 1 in a million ability to see what people need on any given day and big picture what they need long term and make the connection with them on a personal level so that all of the goals can be achieved. With Mike, it was never just, wins and losses and dropping time, and that was certainly important. But his coaching philosophy was more big picture than that. It was about recognizing us as student athletes, with student being the first and most operative word, and also as human beings that arrive at college at 18 years old and leave when we're 21, 22. And the growth that takes place during that time was always something that he was interested in fostering in any way that he and really his whole family could.
So Coach was 100% trusting of his athletes. And he just, quickly into our relationship said, hey, you're good, you're fast, keep doing what you're doing. And he led us to our own devices to the point where it instilled a tremendous amount of learning and opportunity to grow and mature. And I think those types of moments really pay off in the pressure-packed situations. You've learned to believe in yourself. You learn to trust yourself. You know your coach believes and knows that you know what to do. And you take what you've done and who you are and you apply that to your race and to your performances and to your confidence.
During his tenure at Gettysburg, Mike, alongside his wife Cammie, won a total of 42 conference team titles across the Centennial and MAC, which accounts for 25% of all the championships earned in Gettysburg College's history. He led the Bullets to 20 NCAA Division III championship showings, including a men's team program best 12th place finish at Nationals in 1998 and 2015. Under Raleigh, swimmers have achieved 118 All-American honors and 334 Centennial Conference event titles. Raleigh is a 6-time Centennial Conference Coach of the Year award winner across the men's and women's teams and holds records for the most wins in men's and women's swimming by any coach in Gettysburg swimming history.
What I appreciated about Mike was that I was not the best swimmer there, but he helped me with my stroke. He gave me demanding practices and I got better. Even though I had swam in high school, I got better when I was in college because of him. I appreciated that. I appreciated that he was willing to take the time to help me to get better.
He just knew it was, the benefit was being able to compete, being able to train, having discipline, having a schedule, and frankly, winning.
He provided those opportunities, woke up early with me, headed to the weight room, got in the pool, wrote me practices, got a great team around me and made us work hard and fired us up and got us going. And he led a lot of it up to us. So he said, it's up to you. And he gave us that independence and that accountability. And that has just made the biggest impact in my life.
In 2020, Raleigh was honored with the Richard E. Stedman Award, which recognizes a coach who has done the most to spread happiness in the sport of swimming by the CSCAA. Raleigh not only accomplished this by creating joy for his swimmers, but by advocating for them.
He always found a way to make things fun for everyone. So even when it was just a handful of us traveling, he still made it feel exciting and he still always had the right words to say no matter what the mood was. So
when I was in my senior year, I got very sick. I had to leave school suddenly and Mike found out where I was, called my hospital room and we spoke. I think my parents had already spoken to the administration at school and they recommended that I just drop out for the semester and graduate late. It was my senior year. And I talked to Mike about that and how upset I would be to not graduate on time. And unbeknownst to me, Mike found out who my teachers were. He called every one of my teachers. He got accommodations for me from every one of my teachers. And because of him, I graduated on time.
It was always a pleasure having Mike around. And truth be told, when I would walk around campus and see him roll by on his Triumph or see it parked outside of the old Cub pool building, that would just give me such comfort knowing that he was around. And, I don't think there's ever been a more impactful adult on so many people, certainly on my life. He was just a major part of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike Raleigh.
behave yourselves. I'm going to make this as brief as possible because I know everyone is ready to get out and move on with their evening, so here I go. No stories, no reminiscing, just straight up thank yous. I'd like to thank the Orange and Blue Club for its support of the college athletes and for hosting tonight's event. I'd especially like to congratulate the other 5 inductees in the 2011 women's lacrosse team for their induction into the 2020 class. The other inductees were chosen for their athletic accomplishments while attending Gettysburg College. While I'm up here tonight, by riding in on the coattails of athletes like them, I assure you there are people in the audience tonight who deserve to be inducted more than I do. Gallagher. Nonetheless, I'm honored to be here tonight. I do have a dilemma, though. My family expects me to be gracious, and the former swimmers here tonight expect me to be irreverent. I'm going with gracious. So on with the thank yous. First and foremost, I want to thank the former swimmers, particularly the ones who were kind enough to attend tonight. It really means a lot to me. You kept me employed. You made me look good. All those gaudy statistics belong to you, not me. And you kept my life interesting. I honestly enjoyed coaching all of you. Well, all but about 6 of you. Thank you, swimmers. I'd like to thank all of my assistant coaches and most of my team managers. So thank you, Scott Sauer, Pam Fisher, Sharon Ryan, Carla McCoy, Matt Jones, Ian Booth, Ryan Janos, Ryan McAnally, Anton White, Chris Nessler, Jeff Miller, Drew Close, Jillian Hancock, and Zach Moser. Thank you. I'd like to thank Gettysburg College for employing me, and especially the late Bob Holton, the AD who hired me. I'd like to thank my daughters who are here tonight, Francesca and Mia, and my daughter who's not here, Maggie. They grew up with the teams, and their lives were greatly enhanced and impacted in so many ways by the swimmers. And finally, I want to thank Cammie Boss Baritzi Raleigh. She was the assistant coach for Gettysburg swim teams for 34 years. During those 34 years, no one believed that I could possibly be responsible for the team's successes. Everyone believed it was because of her. And I can live with that. Her own swimming career was remarkable, and most of our swimmers were in awe of her. She was a 3-year high school All-American in 3 different strokes. She held the Connecticut state record in 100 back for 19 years, the 100 fly record for 15 years. She was a U.S. swimming senior national qualifier from age 14 to 21. Scoring in all but her first year. She was an Olympic trials qualifier in 1980 and 1984. She was a 13-time All-American and an American record holder in the 200 medley relay while attending UNC. She was named to the top 50 all-times ACC women's swim team and inducted into the UNC Champion Circle for all athletes who were either national champions or Olympians. Cammie. Stand up, please, Cammie. The Gettysburg College swim program would not have been the same without her. I love her, the swimmers loved her, and it should probably be her face on the plaque instead of mine. Thanks, Cammy. The end. Good night. Adios.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the chair of our Orange and Blue Club, Mr. Rich Sadlop.
On behalf of the Orange and Blue Advisory Council, thank you all for coming. Congratulations to all of tonight's honorees. To paraphrase a great musical philosopher, what a long, strange trip it was to get here, but it sure was worth it. For me, this is one of the best and greatest events associated with Gettysburg athletics. Fellowship, reconnecting with former coaches and teammates, and the stories of our inductees. I want to thank all of you for your continued generosity over the past 2.5 years. Even with seasons canceled, classes remote, you continue to support our college, the athletic programs. No matter what, we knew we could always count on you and your support for the college and all student athletes. Now, before we close, and because this is an athletic event, and because a lot of people associated with this event are here tonight, I want to celebrate an event that just celebrated its 40th anniversary. October 9, 1982. Musselman Stadium. Time running out. Scores tied, 10-10. Takis with the hit, causing a fumble. Barr with the recovery and return. Cohen and Sadlock with a lead block. Urkel with the score. Final score, Bullets 17, Widener 10, ending the nation's longest regular season winning streak at 50 games. Again, thank you for all you do for Gettysburg College. God bless. Good health to all of you and your families, and safe travels. Thank you.
One second. We're almost done. Ladies and gentlemen, is the mic on? Ladies and gentlemen, if we can just have you for one more second. If we haven't had the pleasure to meet yet, my name is Nick Polar. I'm the director of the Orange and Blue Club. I want to thank you one last time for coming out and joining us this evening to kick off homecoming weekend. If we can please have the team of distinction and all of our inductees join us by the stage for some last-minute photos. And if you could also please join us tomorrow at 12:45 p.m. at Musselman Stadium between the bleachers. We'd like to honor you at halftime as well. So thank you all for coming out tonight, and have a great evening. Oh, I'm sorry. And please, excuse me. And please welcome to the stage Erica Messinger to sing the alma mater.
As softly the evening shadows are veiling the campus towers, we come a band of good fellows to sing in the twilight hour. The silvery moonlight mantles the worn walls of chapel anew. The wind in the trees sweetly echoes our praises of orange and blue. Whenever thy loyal ones gather to wake in fond memory soul.